It's Thursday night, and you know what that means. It's another edition of TXN Sports World. Hello, friends, and welcome to another edition of TXN Sports World. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher and Michael Bullock. Happy opening day of Major League Baseball to all of you out there. Although for MF, I know it's one he wants to forget, but who cares? Baseball is back, and that's all there is to it. And that's our main event this evening. Our preview of that. But for right now, let's dive on in to the latest happenings in the world of NFL free agency. And there's one other NFL thing that I forgot to add to the docket, but we're going to add to it tonight. Something that definitely needs to be addressed. The big news that came out from the NFL. Fox has a new voice for Major League Baseball and the World Series after Joe Buck left. And then we will get into our recap of the NCAA tournament and, of course, our Major League Baseball season preview. So let's start it out. Since we last saw you a couple weeks ago on this show, that is, more news, more signings from the NFL. The New Orleans Saints signing Andy Dalton. The New England Patriots signing Jabril Peppers. Malcolm Jenkins announcing his retirement. Bruce Arians announcing his retirement. The Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams signing Bobby Wagner. A couple of things from the Miami Dolphins. They extended Xavier Howard, their star defensive player. And, of course, they did trade who was their number one receiver, Devontae Parker. He's now a New England Patriot. And of course, the other big free agency, the other big hot stove transaction, my Buffalo Bills extending a big extension to Stephon Diggs. And yeah, so Andy Dalton, now a New Orleans Saint. And what can I say about that? I mean, because we know this team has not been the same since Drew Brees retired. This went down back on March 29th. And just want to get the details here. They agreed to terms with veteran Andy Dalton to primarily just presumably serve as Jameis Winston's backup. And new coach Dennis Allen plans to use Taysom Hill primarily as a tight end. And Dalton's deal is a one-year deal worth up to $6 million with $3 million guaranteed. A source told ESPN's Adam Schefter, and the Saints were in the market for another veteran quarterback after allowing former backup Trevor Siemian to leave for the Chicago Bears in free agency. And Dalton certainly qualifies as an upgrade after starting 148 career games with a 77-69-2 record with the Cincinnati Bengals, Dallas Cowboys, and Chicago Bears over his 11-year career. And that's the story as far as Andy Dalton is concerned. Jabril Peppers, one of two big moves by Bullock's Patriots. And we'll get to the other one in just a little bit. This also went down on March 29th as well. It's also a one-year deal. One-year deal worth up to $5 million. And Peppers has spent the last 3 years with the New York Giants. And last year, and Peppers now joins a safety group headlined by longtime captain Devin McCourty, veteran Adrian Phillips, and third-year player Kyle Duggar. He visited with the Patriots on Monday the 28th. Peppers' 2021 season ended prematurely when he ruptured the ACL in his right knee during a Week 6 win over the Carolina Panthers. He is expected to be ready for the start of training camp. The New Jersey native came to the Giants from the Cleveland Browns in a trade centered around wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. during the 2019 offseason. His most productive year was in 2020 when he had 91 tackles, 2.5 sacks, an interception, and 11 passes defended. And the Browns' first-round pick in 2017. He started 59 of 61 games, 333 career tackles, 4.5 career sacks, 4 interceptions, 4 forced fumbles, and 25 passes defended. So that is the Jabril Peppers story. Malcolm Jenkins announcing his retirement from the NFL. Solid career, no question about that. And for 13 years in the NFL. Finally, he played for the New Orleans Saints from 09 to 13, a Philadelphia Eagle from 14 to 19, and the last couple years back in New Orleans. Won 2 Super Bowls, second team All-Pro, 2010, 3-time Pro Bowler, 15, 17, and 18. 2008 Jim Thorpe Award, and a consensus All-American in 2008, second team All-American in 07, and a 3-time first team All-Big Ten, 06 to 08. Retires with 1,044 total tackles, 13.5 sacks, 20 forced fumbles, 11 fumble recoveries, 21 interceptions, 8 defensive touchdowns. Considered a 3-star recruit by Rivals.com, Jenkins was listed as the number 61 cornerback prospect in the nation in 05. Was considered one of the top 2 defensive backs available in the 09 draft, alongside Vontae Davis, and drew comparisons to Terrence Newman. And after he ran a comparably slow 40-yard dash, some scouts considered him better suited for the safety position. And he announced his retirement. The only player who has ever been on a team that defeated both Tom Brady and Peyton Manning during a Super Bowl. So very, very impressive, to say the very least. And wish him all the best in his retirement. No question about that. Of course, the other big retirement, obviously, Bruce Arians. And, very lengthy resume here. His coaching career started in 1975. From 75 to 77, he was a graduate assistant at Virginia Tech. 78 to 80, a wide receivers coach and a running backs coach at Mississippi State. From 81 to 82, he was with Alabama as a running backs coach. Was the head coach for Temple from 1983 to 1988. Running backs coach with the Kansas City Chiefs from 1989 to 1992. Offensive coordinator for Mississippi State, 93 to 95. Tight ends coach for the Saints in 96. Offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach for Alabama in 97. Quarterbacks coach with the Indianapolis Colts from 98 to 2000. 01 to 03, he was the offensive coordinator of the Cleveland Browns. 04 to 06 was the wide receivers coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then from 07 to 11 was the offensive coordinator for the Steelers. 2012 with the Indianapolis Colts was the offensive coordinator and interim head coach back. You remember when Chuck Pagano came down with leukemia. Head coach of the Arizona Cardinals from 2013 to 2017, and the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from 2019 to 2021. Instrumental in getting Tom Brady his 7th Super Bowl ring a couple seasons ago. Winning a Super Bowl, coach of the year twice, AP coach of the year in 2012 and 2014. Highest win percentage in Bucs history, 651. 2-time Super Bowl champion, 40 and 43 with Pittsburgh, and the oldest coach to win a Super Bowl. And, one of the most respected coaches in the game. And he, on March 30th, he informed the Bucs staff that he would be stepping down from the head coaching position and would stay with the team as a new role for the team as a senior football consultant. So on behalf of all of us here, we wish Bruce Arians the very best in his new role. And the LA Rams signing Bobby Wagner, big upgrade for the Super Bowl champs, and great pickup for them, obviously. It was a 5-year, $50 million deal worth up to $65 million for, according to sources. It'll be worth up to $65 million if Wagner reaches the incentives. It'll be a homecoming for him because he was born in LA. He attended high school in Ontario, California, 35 miles east of the city. And Wagner becomes the latest big-name player to join a star-studded Ram defense that already includes Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. And the three of them have all earned at least 3 first-team All-Pro selections over the last 5 years. Only 6 defensive players in the NFL have achieved that feat over that time, according to ESPN Stats and Information Research. Rams had a need at one of their inside linebacker spots after they declined to tender Troy Reeder as a restricted free agent. And Ravens were in the mix. Dallas also had an interest. And it was all because Wagner had publicly and privately voiced his unhappiness over how Seattle handled his release earlier in the month. And Seahawks GM John Schneider and Coach Pete Carroll expressed their regret over how they communicated those plans to Wagner. And he was the last remaining member of that star-studded defense, the Legion of Boom, that led Seattle to its lone Super Bowl in Super Bowl 48 rather. And Wagner, the Seahawks all-time tackles leader with 1,383, coming off a 170 tackle season that earned him his 8th Pro Bowl nod in 10 years, posted that personal best despite missing all but one snap of the final 2 games with a knee sprain. So big pickup there for LA. And then from there, to the delight of good old MF Michael Fletcher, I remember some time ago you had some very choice words for this young man, but your star defensive player is staying. Xavier Howard staying with the Miami Dolphins, and they agreed to the most lucrative contract for a cornerback in NFL history. 5-year deal worth up to $50.6 million in new money and gives Howard the most guaranteed cash for a cornerback in NFL history. He had 3 years and $39 million remaining on the 5-year, $75 million deal he signed in 2020. But you remember he grew discontent with the deal entering 2021. The second-round pick in 2016 requested a trade, saying he didn't feel valued or respected by the organization that drafted him. And his request came during an offseason in which Miami signed cornerback Byron Jones to a 5-year, $82.5 million deal, making Howard the second highest paid cornerback on his own team. But to alleviate his concerns, the Dolphins had slightly restructured his deal after his trade request, which included rescinding his fines for skipping mandatory minicamp and promising to renegotiate his contract following the 2021 season. Had 5 interceptions in 2021 and enforced a pair of fumbles, one of which he returned for a touchdown. And since he entered the league in 2016, no other player has more interceptions than Xavier Howard with 27. So there you go, MF. I know you got to be thrilled about that, to have your star defensive player back. But I know you're sad about losing who was your top receiver. That was until you got Tyreek Hill. Michael Bullock, MF's loss is your gain because your Patriots acquire Devontae Parker in a trade with the Miami Dolphins, in a rare trade between these AFC East rivals. Patriots acquired the Dolphins' Devontae Parker and a 2022 fifth-round draft pick in exchange for a 2023 third-round pick. And obviously, it's because of the Dolphins' acquisition of Tyreek Hill and the free agent signing of Cedric Wilson made Parker expendable. Miami will now have 2 first-round picks, a second-rounder, and 2 third-rounders in the 2023 NFL draft. And Parker could be a top option for second-year quarterback Mac Jones, joining a receiving core that includes top returnees Jacoby Myers, Nelson Aguilar, and Kendrick Bourne. And the Patriots inherit the remaining 2 years of Parker's deal, which calls for him to earn base salaries of $5.65 million in 2022 and $5.7 million in 2023 rather. So So there you go, Bullock. I know you're very happy about that. And last but certainly not least, my team, the Buffalo Bills, Stephon Diggs. I mean, yep, I'm beyond pleased with this extension here, and this just came about this week, about a day or so ago. Josh Allen, JA-17, will be working with his favorite weapon for years to come, as the Buffalo Bills have reached an agreement with wide receiver Stephon Diggs on a 4-year, $104 million extension that includes $70 million guaranteed, according to Adam Schefter. 2 years remaining on his existing deal. Diggs' contract now runs through 2027 at a total value of $124.1 million. Both the Bills and Diggs would like him to retire in Buffalo, sources said. And the agreement follows a wave of top wide receiver deals this offseason, making Diggs' extension an inevitable conclusion for the Bills. New Miami Dolphin wide receiver Tyreek Hill received $72.2 million guaranteed, and new Vegas receiver Davante Adams got $65 million guaranteed. And Allen's contract extension signed last year ties him to Buffalo through 2028. And you remember they acquired him from Minnesota, March of 2020, in exchange for 4 draft picks, including a first rounder. And since that trade, Diggs has put together 2 of the best seasons of his career, including his first 2 Pro Bowl appearances. In his 2 years in Buffalo, 230 catches, 2,760 yards, and 18 touchdowns, including a career best in 2020 with 127 catches, 1,535 yards, 8 touchdowns. And this year had career high 10 touchdowns in the first 17-game season. And since his trade to Buffalo, he has been ranked in the top 10 in the NFL in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. The only players with more receptions than Diggs since the start of 2020, Davante Adams and the Super Bowl champion LA Ram and Super Bowl MVP Cooper Kupp. Not a bad list. So those are all the big news in the world of NFL, all the big hot stove stories. So there isn't much more to say. So MF, you heard all the stories, you heard all the schematics behind them, but I know you definitely want to get into what's going on with your Miami Dolphins. Your star defensive player, Xavier Howard, he's staying, but you did lose Devontae Parker to Bullets Patriots.
Yeah. Look, the way I see about it, because I'll go with the Miami Dolphin angle first, and then I might backtrack to all the others. Um, as far as Xavier Howard goes, it is always cut and dry with Xavier Howard. There's always moments where he's one of the best defenders in the league. There's no doubt about it. What he does, how he plays, what he does, he plays it the right way. Obviously, he wants his money, and the way that he handled it kind of rubbed a lot of Dolphin fans the wrong way. Not just myself, but a lot of Dolphin fans were very upset with Xavier Howard. However, Howard continues to prove to be a great player, a team player, and at the end, he gets what he wants. He got the money. He's one of the highest paid defensive players in the NFL now. So we know Howard is going to be locked up for years to come, and it's going to be amazing what he's going to do, what he brings to the table, and everything else like that. As far as Devontae Parker goes, Parker is, when he's on the field, he is without a doubt the most dynamic wide receiver in the NFL. The only reason why he doesn't get the accolades so richly deserved is because of the fact that he is injury prone. He's had a lot of injuries in the last couple of years. And the thing is that he's been on a downward spiral. But the problem is with Tyreek Hill, with Cedric Wilson, with Jalen Waddle, and as incredible as the season that Waddle had last year, there wasn't enough. There was too many weapons that Miami has unfortunately, Parker was probably going to be the odd man out. The thing was, there was a lot of trade value. There's a lot of people that the teams were looking at. And at the end of the day, after we made that trade with Tyreek Hill, we lost a lot of draft capital that we need to recoup. So for 2023, we're in great shape. We're in immaculate shape. You even alluded to it, Anthony. 2 1s, 1 2, 2 3s. That is a great start to work with, where next year's draft class could be one of the deepest in recent years. Like, they're talking about in the quarterback position, in the running back position, in the wide receiver position, in the O-line. There is some powerhouses that's coming out next year that you're going to want to draft. So obviously Miami's going to hold on to their picks when it comes to that. In 2022, in this upcoming draft that's going to be going down in a matter of weeks, in about 4 weeks time right now, from Vegas, there's not that many bona fide stars there. And I think that's why you see Miami kind of, trying to situate themselves into a position. Even though there's going to be guys that they're going to want to get, but that's the worry and that's the fear that we got, is the draft capital. We don't know what we're going to get, beyond, the future. So they're going to want to go in. They're probably going to jump. They're going to make some moves. And that's why. So with the dead money that they can get, or with the dead money that they're going to get from the Parker trade, that will help Miami out to situate so that we can get all these rookies, whatever we need to get. And I don't think Miami is done. I do believe Miami is still going to go out there. They're going to look for O-line help. They're going to look for guys in the defense to shore up every little pothole that they need to shore up, they need to get. As for New England, they need a dynamic wide receiver. I think that was the one thing New England was lacking last year. They did not have a dynamic wide receiver that Mac Jones can rely on or throw to. And that was one of the reasons why New England struggled last year. Now, there's other bits and pieces. The Jabril Peppers thing, that's a great signing for the defense. And that's going to help them, bolster their defense up, because their defense was also lacking last year. And that's why you had a lot of rants, not just by many Patriot fans, but Michael Bullock and other people is such, we're really tight with a lot of the guys who, either they're from Special Olympics, my 2184 crew, Anthony, your church family. I know they're diehard Patriot fans. So all across the board, it didn't matter who you were, where you were from. People were not happy with the Patriots last year. They weren't. They want, how they are. They want results right now because of the fact that, remember, the Patriots were multi-time world champions. They've won 6 of these Super Bowls. And that's the reason why you got a lot of people that, I don't want to say prisoner of the moment, but they're so used to success. They're so used to not losing that this past season was an aberration. The last 2 years for the New England Patriots, it's uncharted waters for them. They're not used to struggling. They're not used to having down years. They are a contender, a legit threat, year in and year out. Doesn't matter if they make the playoffs. Doesn't matter if they make the AFC Championship or the Super Bowl. They know every year that their expectation is to hang yet another banner at Gillette Stadium. That's the standard. That's what they're looking for. That's what they're trying to get to that point. But right now, like we said, they're still a couple of years away. They're still, right now, this year's AFC Eastern Division is literally a three-horse race. Forget the New York Jets. The hell with the Jets. Screw them. It is down between Buffalo, Miami, and New England. That is where the AFC East pretty much is up for grabs. One of those three is going to win this. And yes, I did say that because I legitimately believe it. Because Buffalo got better. They sure up their offensive line. They got some defensive help. They got Von Miller. Now they just locked up Stephon Diggs. Great, great, great moves for Buffalo. They're gonna be right back where they were 1 year ago, fighting for the division title and maybe thinking going beyond, maybe beyond, thinking that this could be their year to get to the Super Bowl. And maybe it could be their year. You never know. Miami has put themselves in a position now that they can legitimately say, we're a playoff contender, but more importantly, we can win the AFC East. These are moves that they have already made, shoring up the offensive line when we got Tilstead. When we got him, the tackle, we exploded getting Raheem Mostert. We got Cedric Wilson. We actually put the franchise tender on Mike Gesicki, and Gesicki said, "Yes, I'll do it for that price." That's great. Darren Smythe is back. We got so many weapons. The Tyreek Hill signing might be the final piece of the puzzle for the Miami Dolphins. And then to shore up the offensive line by re-signing Nick Needham, by putting him on an RFA tender, and he signed that, to lock down Xavier Howard for years to come, Miami has put themselves in a position now that if we don't win the AFC East, okay, that's fine. But they now have a team that they can say is a playoff contender. As for New England, it's the same thing. They are believing in themselves that, hey, if Buffalo falls, if Miami falls, we got pieces now on our team that we can make a big run and get back to the AFC Eastern Division title, or even good enough that we could be a playoff caliber team next year. And a lot of people, are saying New England will be in the postseason. A lot of people are believing that. So don't sleep on the Patriots. Don't sleep on Miami. Don't sleep on Buffalo. Those three teams right now are poised to have monster runs next year. As far as the Bruce Arians retirement goes, there's a lot of rumors that maybe this was Brady's influence that forced him out. I don't want to go there. I'm not going to say that because that's a bunch of hearsay and I don't want to get into that. What I will say is Bruce Arians did a remarkable job as a head coach. What he did with Indy when he took over for Chuck Pagano after Pagano got his cancer scare, to what he did in Arizona, to finally winning it all with Tampa, with Brady a couple of years ago. It has been an incredible ride for him. And for us, we got to tip the cap. There's nothing more to say. He deserves all the credit, all the respect, everything that he got is truly worth what the admiration and the love and the respect that he got. So congratulations to him. And there's really nothing more to add. So Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Bullock, are you with us? Oh, all right. I guess I don't know if Bullock stepped away but hopefully we'll get him on. We'll hear from him in just a little bit. But with that being said, let's get into our next big story. This is also from the NFL. Oh, there's Bullock. Okay, we got Bullock here. All right, Bullock. I know there was a lot to get into, but nonetheless, just like MF did with the Dolphins, how you feeling about Devontae Parker and Jabril Peppers coming to Foxborough next year?
And like you said, I mean, with Devontae Parker, it gives Mac Jones the legitimate weapon at the wide receiver position that we haven't had. I mean, you pair him up with Kendrick Bourne and Jacoby Myers, obviously, and of course with Hunter Henry. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely an improvement, but they still got some work to do here. If maybe they could draft another wide receiver in the draft. So, but we'll have to wait and see on that. I mean, and Jabril Peppers, I mean, that could definitely help in the safety position. I mean, when you got guys like Devin McCourty and Kyle Duggar, and Adrian Phillips. So, but yeah, I mean, this is definitely. I mean, I like some of these moves, but who knows? Maybe they need to really take. They need to do some more if they want. I mean, if they want to advance further in the playoffs. So we'll wait and see how it all goes. And yes, I mean Bruce Arians. I mean, announcing his retirement, and it is now in a front office role. I've been hearing the same things too, Fletch and you, Florio. I mean, with some are saying that Tom Brady may have had influenced Bruce Arians out, but to me, I think that's just a bunch of rumors or a bunch of hogwash, as I like to say. I mean, I just can't envision Tom Brady doing something like that. So, I mean, if he does that, if it was true, this makes Tom Brady look bad. I mean, people are going to be like, I mean, yes, you may be the GOAT, but you're basically throwing your weight around and doing whatever you want. But I just can't see him doing that. But yeah, I mean, and Malcolm Jenkins with his retirement, and I mean, like you said, he's the only guy that's beaten Tom Brady and Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl. So that's something no one else can say that they've done. So yeah, and of course, yeah, there's really nothing more to add. I mean, you guys pretty much touched on everything. So with that being said, Florio, let's move on to the next topic, and we finally have the official word on who the new voice of the World Series will be for Fox.
Yes, we do. But before we get into that, there is another story that I have just added because it's one that definitely needs to be addressed. That's the next one. But and Bullock, I'm going to let you lead off on that story in just a little bit, Bullock. But right now, the other big story in the NFL that definitely needs to be addressed: NFL owners approved a modified proposal for overtime on March 29th that will guarantee each team a possession, but only in the playoffs. The rule for regular season games, which allows the team with the first possession to win if it scores a touchdown, that's unchanged. A majority of NFL decision makers arrived at the Breakers Hotel, and they were willing to adjust overtime in some fashion. largely in reaction to public outcry after the Kansas City Chiefs defeated the Buffalo Bills in overtime during the epic 5-star divisional playoff game with an opening possession touchdown. The Indianapolis Colts and Philadelphia Eagles proposed a mandatory possession for both teams in all games, regular season and in the playoffs, but competition committee chairman Rich McKay said there was not enough support among owners to pass the rule unless it was amended to postseason only. Ultimately, it passed by a vote of 29-3. If the score remains tied in the postseason after each team has had a possession, the game will be decided in traditional sudden death overtime. So with all that being said, MF, definitely a win for all of us fans, and especially all of us in Bills Mafia, and especially JA17 after that ridiculous outcome.
Yeah, but you know what? The thing is that let's go even further. The outcry started after the Patriots won the Super Bowl. This started all the way back when the New England Patriots completed the greatest comeback in NFL history by winning the Super Bowl with that touchdown.
Yep, that's right.
And that started the whole hugabaloo. And that was when people started talking that why didn't Atlanta get an opportunity? Why didn't Atlanta get a chance at the football in overtime in the Super Bowl? And that's where this is where it kind of started, but I will openly admit it. The Buffalo versus Kansas City literally put it front and center than anything else. You could say the Super Bowl was the first cracks in the armor of the overtime rules, but then the Kansas City Buffalo game basically became the elephant in the room. Something had to be addressed. Am I for it? In a way, yes. I think it is a good idea. And I would have preferred the college style rule, not what they're proposing here with the NFL. And that too, Michael Bullock, you actually he just put on the private chat. Don't forget the Patriots and Kansas City, the AFC Championship game. Absolutely, that also kind of pushed the needle to what happened. As a matter of fact, Kansas City was one of the first teams that called for this. And at the time, it was denied because not enough owners said yes to the deal. Where now you had a whole bunch of teams, 29 of them, saying, yeah, we need to change the overtime rules. So at the end of the day, I don't mind it for the postseason. I think postseason has such higher stakes, so I totally get it, and I agree with the rules. I think that if the overtime rule is a success, expect to see that rule possibly go into the NFL. And I mean literally go into the regular season the year after. Because if you get that where a team scores, well, all right, fine, the other team can respond. The one thing that I've been hearing is that, well, if that's the case, then you're going to see a lot of teams defer if they win the coin toss. Because now, once you get that first possession, you'll get to know how you're going to do it. 4-down territory, and you have to basically see, okay, if you need a field goal will tie it, we continue on. Or if you get a touchdown, you win the game, and the game is over. So I don't know how that's going to look. We'll wait and see how it plays out. But I will say this, that this could be a double-edged sword. It could be a beneficial for one team, could be a detriment to another. We never know until we see what happens. And because it's in the postseason, we won't know until the playoff if this rule's going to really come into effect or not. You don't know. You never know. So we'll see how it plays out. But at the end of the day, I love it because of the fact that it will give us it will bring more high drama, especially in the playoff. And to do it in the postseason and to have this rule in new effect, it's going to bring high drama more than anything else. So that Shakespearean drama that you like to talk about, Anthony Florio, let's just say it'll go from 0 to 60 if we get into an overtime period in the playoffs under these new rules. Um, yeah, nothing more to say. So Michael Bullock, I'm cool with it. I don't mind it. Um, like I said, I think if it's very successful in the postseason this year, expect this rule to be a permanent rule, including a regular season starting the year after that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see how this goes. I mean, because like you like you said, and like I said too. I mean, so many things that happened that really had teams push for this. I mean, like you said, the Super Bowl where the Patriots completed the comeback and the Falcons never got possession in the overtime. AFC Championship game, Patriots and Chiefs, same thing. Patriots score, Chiefs game was over. Chiefs don't never touch the football. But it really got pushed when that epic game between the Bills and the Chiefs. So, I mean, regular season, like you said, it's still going to be the same, but come playoff time, I'm really going to be interested to see. I mean, I like it, but we'll wait and see how it all works out. I mean, it could be beneficial for one team. For another team, it'll be like maybe you should have just kept it as is. So I'm definitely up for it. I definitely can't wait to see what happens with it. So, Florio, it is yours.
You better believe I'm all for it, especially after what happened in January. Um,
Yeah,
recent data,
when you were probably going to say that atrocity that the Bills lost.
big time atrocity. What if? What if? What if JA-17 had gotten a chance with it? I guarantee you that game would have ended differently. That's all I'm saying. And maybe it would have been Buffalo winning that Super Bowl and not the Rams. You never know. But story for another day. But recent data shows that the quote-unquote problem principally was found in the postseason overtime, Rich McKay said. Since the current requirement for an opening possession touchdown was instituted for the 2012 regular season, teams winning the coin toss have won 50% of the time, according to league data. That number has ticked up a bit to 54% since the league shorted overtime from a maximum of 15 to 10 minutes in 2017, but there has been a big jump in the postseason. Since the previous playoff format was implemented in 2010, 7 of 12 overtime games have been won on the opening possession, and 10 of those 12 were won by the team that won the coin toss. A total of 12 games is not a large sample size, McKay acknowledged, but it was significant enough to prompt a change. It's only the postseason overtime games we've had, he said. It's 12 years, 12 games. Those 12 games are as important to those franchises as any they are ever going to play in their history. So to us, yes, it's not a sample size of 25 or 30 games, but it's the only sample size we have, and each one ends somebody's season. So for us, this was something that we thought we needed to change. Bills general manager Brandon Beane said he was in favor of the playoff-only modification and revealed this week that he was mulling it long before the Bills lost to the Chiefs. And he went on to say, I mean, I think we thought about it before when it came up when Kansas City lost to New England in the 2018 AFC Championship game. I was watching that game going, man, you got a young Patrick Mahomes versus a veteran in Tom Brady, and you never got to see Mahomes get his chance. Brady just took them right down the field. I think it happened in the Super Bowl when the Patriots won. Yes, it did. So there was some times where you're like, man, I wonder what would have happened if the other team would have got the ball. Definitely when it happens to you, when it happens to you, focus a little bit more on it. Tennessee Titans withdrew a proposal that would have allowed a team to win on the opening possession of overtime if it scored a TD and converted a 2. But McKay said he has heard discussion this week from coaches who will consider using the 2-point attempt in playoff overtime, either to gain an advantage after the first possession or to win a game on the second. And owners also approved one additional rule change in one resolution. First, they made permanent a 2021 experiment that adjusted positioning in the setup zone on kickoffs that were designed to increase recovery rates for onside kicks. The tweak corresponded with a rise in the onside kick recoveries from 7.8% in 2020 to 13.5% in 2021. The new resolution, meanwhile, changed the league's tampering policy to allow teams to retain members of their player personnel staff through the draft. Between that point and June 30th, those teams would be required to allow staff members to interview with other teams. The resolution would apply only to non-high-level executives who are pursuing a secondary football executive position. But we're all in agreement on this. And you know me, I especially approve of this, and I'm glad they finally got it right. And I just hope that when we get to next postseason and when we see Buffalo in a postseason game, and hopefully there will not be, and we know there will not be any more BS. So from here on in, no excuses. We lose, and I could say, hey, at least we won fair and square. What happened in January, that was anything but fair and square. So that's all I'm saying. Yes, I know a lot of people are saying you're still on that. You damn right I'm still on it. Maybe not as much as before, but you better believe I'm gonna still have this entrenched in my mind until we get to the next season. And then if Buffalo goes on to win the Super Bowl, then all will be forgiven and I'll forget about it. But that's gonna hang with me for a long time. So, but bravo NFL. I'm glad you finally did something right. So, well done. All right, Bullock. Now we'll get into the big news from Major League Baseball, of course. Of course, as many of you all know, Joe Buck left Fox Sports along with Troy Aikman to become the new play-by-play team for Monday Night Football. In the wake of Joe Buck leaving Fox for ESPN, there was lots of discussion about who might replace Buck on NFL on Fox and MLB on Fox broadcasts. Much of that discussion centered on internal candidates Kevin Burkhardt and Joe Davis, the play-by-play voices on Fox's number 2 teams in football and baseball, respectively. And Andrew Marchand in the New York Post reported last week that Burkhardt was indeed the football pick, although Fox has not yet officially announced it. And Marchand reported on Monday that Fox is indeed choosing Joe Davis for the baseball role. Joe Davis will be the new voice of the World Series. Davis replaces Joe Buck, who ended his nearly quarter-century run after he left Fox for ESPN's Monday Night Football last month. Davis, age 34, is also the TV voice of the Los Angeles Dodgers, having replaced the legendary Vince Scully in 2017. With Fox Sports, Davis will team with analyst John Smoltz. The two have worked together a lot in previous years, as Buck did not call many regular season games. Davis also would fill in for Buck on his postseason games when Buck had conflicts. So that's the schematics there. I'll have more in a bit, but for right now, Michael Bullock, Joe Davis. Boy, oh boy, does he has, oh boy, you want to talk about having big shoes to fill? Oh boy, he's got some big time shoes to fill, replacing Joe Buck, who did well over 20 World Series for Fox.
Yeah, and let's not forget another thing, Florio. I mean, he's been the voice of Major League Baseball since 1996, when him and, of course, another great analyst that he worked with, Tim McCarver, started working together back in '96, which was of course, the World Series, which I'm sure holds a special place for you, Florio, because that was the year when your New York Yankees won that World Series.
And that's when the dynasty began, right there.
Exactly. And like you said, Joe Buck's called many World Series. Of course, I mean, another one that I'm sure is one that you'll never forget, Florio. 1998. The
The
one of the
greatest
great.
team of all time.
Some are calling it the greatest season in Major League Baseball history
It
with what
is.
the New York Yankees accomplished,
It
and I
is
tend to agree with that.
to this day.
I mean,
Until someone does better, it you're never going to see another season like that again. You never will.
oh, I don't think you ever will, Florio. So I don't think you have to worry about that. And of course, the Yankees, of course, winning another one in 2000. That was another year that Fox did it. And of course, the Diamondbacks winning one. Of course, one that will always hold a special place for me, and that was, of course, '04 when the Red Sox finally ended 86 years and won the World Series for the first time since 1918.
You should have heard MF
I
on
mean,
that call, man. I'll never forget it.
yeah, and then, of course, another one I'll never forget was, of course, the 2016 World Series when the Cubs ended their long drought. So many great memories for Joe Buck when it comes to Major League Baseball on Fox, especially the World Series. But now it's Joe Davis's turn, and he definitely has some huge shoes to fill. I mean, I think he'll do quite well. I mean he doesn't need to be Joe Buck. He needs to be himself. I mean, he needs to continue doing what he's done when he's called games for Major League Baseball on Fox or currently with the Dodgers. So I can't wait to see this, and yeah. So congratulations, Joe Davis, on your new role as the lead commentator for the World Series on Fox. So Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, you just conjured up some great memories there, Bullock. No question about that. Memories are all forever hold near and dear to me, and Joe Buck definitely had those memories for all of us. I mean, Joe Buck called four World Series championships for my New York Yankees: 96, 98, 2000, and 2009. Of course, I believe he had four for Bullock and his Red Sox: '04,
Oh four,
'07.
oh seven, 13, and 18.
Yep. But the last one, of course, that's the one that's gonna forever hold the place in MF's heart, because Joe Buck's final World Series, it was MF and his Atlanta Braves, and I know that's never gonna leave his heart for as long as he lives. But now it's this upcoming year, this October and perhaps into November, you don't know. It's now going to be Joe Davis, and he's originally from Michigan. He graduated from Beloit College in 2010 with a degree in communications and journalism. He worked for Comcast Sports Southeast from 2010 to 12, calling college football, baseball, and basketball, and also worked for Baylor and for D3Sports.com during that time. 2012 saw him head to ESPN for college football, and 2014 saw him join Fox, where he's covered baseball and occasional NFL games. He started on Sportsnet LA's Dodgers broadcasts as well in 2016, beginning as an alternate that season. Then eventually took over for the legendary Vince Scully after that year. Davis already has significant MLB on Fox experience and significant experience working with returning top analyst John Smoltz. So this should be a relatively smooth transition for him, but we'll see how Davis does in this new role and how the move is received by fans. So congratulations indeed to Joe Davis, and the World Series will certainly not be the same without Joe Buck, and but nothing lasts forever, as they say. So that's all there is on that end. So MF, it may be Joe Davis nowadays, but you'll always be the Joe Buck to my Tim McCarver, but Joe Davis, man, I mean, oof, I imagine he's going to have butterflies the size of eagles, replacing a living legend like Joe Buck.
I think he will, but the thing is that Joe Davis, he had to replace Vince Scully. in the LA Dodgers. And he has done an incredible job with that. So I think the moment's not too big for Joe. And I think Joe Davis will do an incredible job. Yes, he's following Joe Buck, who was literally the heart and soul of Fox for a number of years. Because not only do you have that, but also Joe Buck was the voice of the NFL. Remember that too. So there's gonna be a major fallout from that as well. But Joe Davis, like I said, he had to replace Vince Scully. And we all know Vince Scully is like is one of the voices of God in Major League Baseball. He is as legendary or as a recognizable voice, not only for the LA Dodgers, but he also did a lot of national games. He did a lot of games for NBC back in the day. He was actually the voice of the World Series for a number of years. Um, I think what we got to think about with Joe Davis is that a lot of people are excited, and as a matter of fact, when news got out that Joe Davis is the guy, a lot of fans, a lot of baseball fans came out in full support. They like him. They think he's a great voice. He has a great, vast knowledge of baseball, and I think that's why I do believe that Joe Davis will succeed because of the fact that he's got something to the table, and he has been kind of the number two guy um prior to this. So yeah, I think Joe Davis will do really well. So I wish him nothing but the best. I wish him the best of luck. And Anthony, it's yours.
All right, and now we're going to move on to the first half of our double main event here this evening, a very exciting double main event, to say the very least. And we're going to be starting it off with the conclusion of the 2022 NCAA tournament. And I mean, we definitely had a lot of fun with it, no question about it. And it was a couple of weeks ago that we were in the regional round, and we all remember how that all played out. We did that show 2 weeks ago, and then after that, St. Peter's, man. I mean, what can you say about them? I mean, that is the greatest Cinderella run we ever saw by any Cinderella team, going all the way to the Elite Eight. Because in the Sweet 16, they knocked off the Purdue 67-64. Your PC Friars. By the way, shout out to Ed Cooley, Naismith Coach of the Year. Oh, by the way. So big honor for him and a big moment for us PC Friar fans. But unfortunately, the PC dream came to an end on that same night, losing to Kansas 66-61. North Carolina knocking off UCLA in a battle of the Blue Bloods 73-66. And then Miami Hurricanes over Iowa State 70-56. And then in the regional final, South Regional Final, Villanova beat Houston 50-44. That was a 2 over a 5. Number 2, Duke out west. Duke, the 2 seed, over number 4, Arkansas, 78-69. Payback for that 94 national championship. Kansas, easy win over number 10, Miami, 76-50. And then North Carolina putting an end to the St. Peter's dream, 69-49 beatdown. And then in the Final Four last Saturday, Kansas against Villanova, Kansas winning 81-65. And then first time ever they met in the tournament, and boy, howdy, did it live up to the hype. North Carolina and Duke. And unfortunately for MF and all his fellow Dookie fans, the dream died. Coach K's career over, and North Carolina retires Coach K 81-77. And then Monday night, as you heard on Ridiculously Raw, when we broke away from our Raw review for a little bit, you got to hear the voice of March Madness screaming Michael Fletcher. And we definitely had a screaming Michael Fletcher moment as Kansas won the national championship, their first since 2008, defeating North Carolina 72-69. Led, of course, by Ochai Agbaji, who was the outstanding player of the tournament. 5 players in double figures. Jalen Wilson and David McCormick, each with 15 points apiece. McCormick also had 10 rebounds to go with those 15 points. Christian Braun had 12 points and 12 rebounds of his own. Agbaji had 12 points. Remy Martin, 14. And for North Carolina, co-leading scorers on their end as well, Armando Bacot and RJ Davis, 15 each. Bacot and 3 players on Carolina had double-doubles. Bacot had 15 points and 15 rebounds. RJ Davis, 15 points and 12 rebounds. And Brady Manick, 13 points, 13 rebounds. Carolina jumped out to a huge lead, a 15-point lead at halftime. And then Kansas outscored North Carolina in the second half, 47-29, to win the national championship by a score of 72-69, to give Kansas their first title in 14 years. Since they upset Memphis in 2008. That was the Mario Chalmers 3, as we all remember, that sent it into OT and opened the door for Kansas to win it all. So an amazing tournament. And it was the first normal tournament that we had since 2019, when Virginia completed their redemption tour from that embarrassing loss in 2018 to UMBC, that 16-1. That's the only time it's ever happened on the men's side. Of course, as we all know, 2020, we had no tournament because that's when the pandemic started. And 2021, we had the tournament, but it was in that bubble, and it was a bubble in Indiana with little to no fans at all. But this year, it was so great to have all the venues at full capacity, and it definitely added that excitement of the tournament that we have been wanting for quite some time, and I'm glad we got it. And it'll definitely go down as one of the greatest tournaments of all time, and one that we will not soon forget. And congratulations to Bill Self and the Kansas Jayhawks, national champions. After 14 years, Jayhawks fans, your long wait is over, and big celebration for them. They well deserved, and they definitely earned it. And second year in a row that the Big 12 will hold possession of the national championship trophy in college basketball. Baylor won it a year ago. Kansas keeps it in the Big 12. And Carolina this close to being the first ACC team since the Virginia team in 2019. So great tournament all around. St. Peter's will never forget their unbelievable run. As a guy who loves underdog stories, and yeah, definitely, I was pulling hard for those guys, but at the same time, I was also pulling hard for MF and the Dukies, especially for Coach K. I mean, we would have loved to have seen them get that fairy tale moment, go out a champion, but the cruel irony strikes once again, as their most hated rival, North Carolina, will now forever be known as the team that retired Coach K. Wow. So great tournament all around. And yes, MF, perfect timing. First off, congratulations to UMF, because you were the winner of our TXN Sports World bracket manager group. So congratulations to MF. He was the winner. So, but MF, I mean, it was so great to have that full tournament again, full capacity crowds in all the venues, and all I can say was another masterful job from you. I mean, you will forever be the voice of March Madness amongst this crew, and it showed. I mean, a fantastic job. But I know most of all, I know you're disappointed about the way it ended, but I know at the same time you got to be very proud of your Dukies. I mean, it's the furthest you've been in 7 years.
Yeah. Obviously, the journey was to win the national championship. We wanted this for Coach K. We got to the Final Four, which is a feat that you know it will not be sneezed at. We can't deny it. It's just unfortunate that we just couldn't get those two wins. Um, to lose to North Carolina, though, that's the one that's gonna eat me alive. If it was any other team, fine. I think we can live with it. We can deal with it. We can be like, you know what? It is what it is. But to lose to North Carolina, to lose to the Tar Heels, and for them to hang that over our heads, that is gonna eat Duke alive for years and years to come. I mean, you want to talk about rivalry, you want to talk about personal. That's personal. And for it's one thing to lose it, but to lose it to them is crazy. And here's the other kicker, Anthony, and you're gonna be like, oh my god, listen to this. Because it was brought up in the broadcast after it happened. The first ever loss Mike Krzyzewski ever suffered was actually to North Carolina. His first ever loss as a head coach was to the Tar Heels. How apropos is that? His first ever loss as a head coach was to North Carolina. The final loss to end his career was the Tar Heels. The Tar Heels did him in again. It is the toughest pill to swallow. And even for Carolina fans, they were definitely giving Duke fans the business. It's a darn shame you guys didn't win the national championship, though. Had it literally in your hands. 15-point lead. Well on your way. And then you give us one of the biggest gag jobs in NCAA finals history. One of the biggest comebacks. Rajok, Jayhawk, you guys deserve the national championship. Congratulations. It was an incredible game. It's a great moment. It was a great way to end what was undoubtedly one of the most wide open NCAA tournaments we've ever had. And for me, I mean, I love my job. I love when I do March Madness. I get excited for these moments. And for that, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to the TXN crew. I'm grateful to the fans. I'm grateful to the guys. You guys set me up really, really well. You guys gave me all the opportunities, and I'm blessed because I got a great crew that works with me every year when we do this tournament, and I get excited because it's not. Yes, it's March Madness, but it's more than March Madness. It's the NCAA tournament. I believe it. I love it. The body of work is there. Everybody did an incredible job, and um, I can't wait to do it again next year. I can't wait to do it again. Obviously, Anthony, and I believe Mike Bullock, you guys do the Big East, or I think Bullock does the A10. I know Anthony, you does the Big East. I got the ACC on lockdown for our games of the week when that starts in, I believe, November, December. The conference play starts in January, and then we do our run into the March Madness. So, I mean, there's really nothing more to add. So, congratulations to Kansas for winning the national championship. Hats off to North Carolina for making it to the championship game. Of course, special congratulations to Duke and Villanova for making it to the Final Four. And there's really nothing more to add. So, Mike Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, this has definitely been one of the greatest tournaments I've ever seen. I mean, to have it back to what it was, obviously in different venues and full capacity, but man, I mean, the run by St. Peter's, I think, was one that I think we all will never forget. And of course, the Friars. I mean, making it to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 1997. I mean, that's the farthest they've ever gone. And then, of course, like you said, the Final Four with Kansas beating Villanova, and then Duke and North Carolina making history, meeting in the tournament for the first time ever, and North Carolina being that team that ends the run of Mike Krzyzewski. But then you go to the national championship. I mean, North Carolina, like you said, they had it, but they basically choked it away. And that's why Kansas is now walking away with the national championship. And second straight year, the Big 12 walks away with the national championship. So there's really nothing more to add. I mean, you guys pretty much touched on everything. So, Florio, it's on to the preview of the 2022 MLB season, which is already underway.
It is indeed underway. And yes, it started today. Of course, it was originally scheduled to start a week ago, but of course, we all know what happened. Thankfully, thankfully we got it all done. So the business at hand is done, and well, here we go. It's here and it's now, and Major League Baseball's arduous 2021-22 off season featured a 99-day lockout that ultimately resulted in an abbreviated spring training and a delayed opening day. Things frantically fell into place. They have frantically fallen into place since the new labor deal came together on March 10th, with every team trying to jam most of its winter moves into just a few weeks, paired with the expanded 12-team playoff field and the opportunities afforded by the universal designated hitter. More clubs were active in March than expected, setting up some interesting postseason races for the new season. And here we go, guys. We'll start it out with the American League. We'll go East, Central, and West as we always do. We're going to start it off with the American League East. Of course, we know which teams are in that division in no particular order. The Baltimore Orioles, the Boston Red Sox, the New York Yankees, the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Toronto Blue Jays. MF, started with you. AL East. They say it may be the most compelling AL East aside from the Orioles. Who's coming out of it?
I'm actually going to shock a few people here. Toronto. I think the Toronto Blue Jays have done enough moves during this offseason that I think they're going to be the surprise winners in the AL East. Don't get me wrong. I know everybody's going to be like, well, what about for the Yankees? What about for Boston? What about for Tampa? Absolutely. Granted, I'm not denying that, but I do believe that once this battle royale comes out, I got Toronto walking away with the division crown. So I got Toronto first. I got New York Yankees second. I got the Tampa Bay Rays third. I'm sorry, Michael Bullock. I got your Boston Red Sox 4, and I got the Orioles in dead last. So that's my prediction. I actually got Toronto winning the AL East. So, Bullock is yours.
Yeah, I got Toronto winning the division as well. I mean, basically with all the moves they've made, and yeah, it looks like they're going to be the team that's coming out of that division. I got the you know what? I'm going to go with the man. Oh man, this is tough, but I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Rays second. I'm going to go with the you know what? I am going to go with the New York Yankees in third place, the Red Sox in fourth, and the Orioles in last. So, Florio, it's yours.
I got Toronto winning the division. I got Tampa Bay finishing second. I have the Yankees finishing third. I got the Red Sox in fourth, and I got the Orioles in last. 4 of these teams won 90-plus games in 2021, but the Blue Jays were the most active in the offseason, acquiring third baseman Matt Chapman and starter Kevin Gausman, albeit to replace Marcus Semien and Robbie Ray. The Rays have won the division 2 years in a row, but didn't do much to upgrade and have a lot riding on Wander Franco and his new 11-year, $182 million deal, taking a significant step forward. Yankees fans may have hated the offseason, but the team didn't get significantly worse over the winter. The pitching questions persist, but they could get a jolt from new infielders Josh Donaldson and Isaiah Keenar Falefa. Trevor Story will move to second base for the Red Sox, who swooped in to sign the 2-time All-Star and boast one of the best lineups in baseball. The Orioles hope to see top prospect Adley Rutschman soon, but not too soon, and are going to lose 100 games again, but have players worth watching in Cedric Mullins and Ryan Mountcastle. So that's the story of the AL East. AL Central, you got the Chicago White Sox, the new Cleveland Guardians, the Detroit Tigers, the Kansas City Royals, and the Minnesota Twins. Michael Bullock, who do you like in the AL Central?
I got the Chicago White Sox winning that division. I mean, after everything they did last season, I just think that they're the better team in this division. So that's why I got. I'm actually going to go with the Detroit Tigers in second place. I mean, they made some key moves in the off season as well, including one of my former guys, Eduardo Rodriguez. Um, I got the Cleveland. You know what? I'm actually going to go with the Kansas City Royals in third. No, actually, scratch that. I mean, I got the Kansas City Royals in second place. I mean, I got the Detroit Tigers third, the Cleveland Guardians fourth, and and the Minnesota Twins in last. You know what? Actually, this is tough. I got Chicago winning it. Man, there are some other. I got Kansas City second. I got Detroit third, Minnesota fourth, and Cleveland fifth. All right, I'm all set with it now, Florio. It is yours.
I know it was tough, Bullock, but I'll make it easier here. I agree with you in the White Sox. I definitely have the White Sox winning the division. However, I have Minnesota finishing second. I have Detroit in third. Kansas City finishes fourth, and the Guardians in last. There wasn't much turnover for the White Sox who enter 2022 as the favorites again, with big things expected from Luis Robert and Eloy Jimenez. Both were limited to less than 70 games last year. The Twins decided to go for it and shocked baseball by signing Carlos Correa, perhaps posing some real questions for Chicago's title defense. They may be a year away, but the Tigers added some big pieces in Javi Baez and Eduardo Rodriguez and are loaded with young talent, making them a trendy pick to make the playoffs ahead of schedule. Baseball's top prospect, Bobby Witt Jr., is expected to break camp with the Royals, who brought back 38-year-old Zach Greinke to the organization that drafted him. And the Guardians did virtually nothing this winter, yet it wouldn't be shocking to see them finish second or third. So So that's my story when it comes to the Central. MF, what says you?
Yeah, Chicago should win the division. I'm going with Detroit second because I really like their young core. Minnesota is third. I'll give you that. Um, I actually disagree. I think the Guardians will be fourth, and I do have Kansas City in dead last. So because you never ever can underestimate the Guardians. Look, like you said, they could always end up in second or third. They always overachieve than any other team. So I'm gonna go. That's my five. And Anthony, next division.
And we go to the AL West. And of course, in that division, as we all know, it's the Houston Astros, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, the Oakland Athletics, the Seattle Mariners, and the Texas Rangers. For me, I think this is an easy one here. I got Houston winning it again. I've got Seattle second. I've got LA third. I got Texas fourth, and I got Oakland last. Justin Verlander's return is huge for the Astros, coming off their third World Series appearance in 5 years. Carlos Correa is gone, but Dusty Baker's team is expected to win the division again. The Mariners may have something to say about that, though, making some big moves in hopes of ending baseball's longest postseason drought, dating back to that incredible year they had in 2001. They added Cy Young winner Robbie Ray and 2021 All-Stars and Adam Frazier and Jesse Winker. Nobody really knows what to make of the Angels. Their hopes of competing hinge on the health of Mike Trout and Anthony Rendon, dropping $500 million on a new middle infield. Corey Seager and Marcus Semien got plenty of attention for the Rangers, and an ongoing clearance sale has the Athletics expected to finish last, but Sean Manaea and Frankie Montas gave Oakland a little bit of upward mobility if they don't get shipped off as well. So that's my story in the West. So MF, it's Houston's division to lose pretty much.
It is Houston's division to lose. So yeah, I'll give you that. Even though I am pulling for Seattle, I'm secretly pulling for Seattle. I really like that team. I saw a lot of them because, fortunately enough, I had the MLB TV last year, so I was watching a lot of Seattle games out west, and they really were opening my eyes. I was really liking what I saw, and again, I really feel like they could be a dangerous team. So don't sleep on Seattle. That's all I'm going to say about that. Yeah, I do got the Angels third. I got Angels third. Oakland will be dead last. That would probably put who am I missing here? Then um Houston, Seattle, uh the the Angels are third. Who am I missing? Who am I missing? I know I'm missing a team. I'm missing one. Anthony, help me here.
Who'd you mention?
Because Houston first, Seattle second, Angels third, Oakland dead last,
The Texas Rangers.
Rangers. That's the team I was missing. That's yeah. So Rangers will be fourth. So yeah, Michael Bullock is yours.
Bullock, did you? No, I don't think Bullock went. Bullock, who do you like in the West? Obviously, it's Houston, but
Yeah, I got Houston. I got Houston finishing first. I got the Seattle Mariners second. I got the Angels third, the Rangers fourth, and the Oakland A's finishing in dead last. So on to the National League.
and it's the NL East, and it's only fitting that MF leads it off. MF, I wonder who you like in this division. Who do you like? Be honest.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be professional about it. However, there is a little bit of a homer inside of me, but the reigning four-time National League Eastern Division champions and the 2021 World Series champions, the Atlanta Braves will win the NL East again. I just feel like we kind of didn't really lose that many weapons. I think we put ourselves in a very good position. So I got Atlanta in first. I do got the New York Mets in second. I really like what they did during their offseason as well. Third will be the Philadelphia Phillies. Fourth will be, actually, I'm going to say the Miami Marlins will be in fourth place this year. I think they did just enough, especially adding Jorge Soler. That really will help them. And for the first time in recent memory, unfortunately for you Washington National fans, you're going to be the ones in the basement this year. So, yeah, I got Atlanta winning, and I think it will be 5 in a row for the Atlanta Braves back to the playoffs. They will go as the NL East champions. So, Mike Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I got the Atlanta Braves winning that division, and yeah, I mean, I got the Phillies. I got the Phillies finishing second. I got the Marlins finishing in third. Excuse me. Yeah, I got the Braves. I got the Phillies, and then I got the Mets, and then I got the Marlins. Who am I missing, Florio?
Nationals.
The Nationals. I mean, yeah, that's who I got finishing in order. So let's. Oh, it's your turn. So it's on to you, Florio.
Yep, I forgot to mention, of course, in the NL East, you have the Atlanta Braves, the Miami Marlins, the New York Mets, the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Washington Nationals. And I'm with MF. I like MF's order. I'm right there with them. I have Atlanta winning the East again. I have the Mets finishing second. I got Philly in third. I got Miami in fourth and Washington in the basement. Indeed, the competition will be fiercer, but the Atlanta Braves should finish atop the division for a fifth consecutive season, having made baseball's best bullpen even deeper. Signing Max Scherzer was the New York Mets' first big free agent splash of the Steve Cohen era, and the universal designated hitter stretches out a lineup that added some new bats after underachieving in 2021. It's been more than a decade since the Philadelphia Phillies made the playoffs, but with Nick Castellanos and Kyle Schwarber on board, this may be the best all-around team they put together in recent years. Credit to the Miami Marlins for spending some money on Avisail Garcia, $53 million, and World Series MVP Jorge Soler, $36 million. They've got a good young rotation led by Sandy Alcantara and are going to cause headaches for the division's presumed contenders. Juan Soto extension watch is going to be 2022's dominant storyline for the Nationals, who did sign 41-year-old DH Nelson Cruz. So that's the story when it comes to the NL East. NL Central, we have the Chicago Cubs, the Cincinnati Reds, the Milwaukee Brewers, the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the St. Louis Cardinals. Bullock, NL Central, you know the teams. Who do you like in it?
Oh man, yeah, I got the Brewers winning that division, and then of course who are the rest of the teams?
Milwaukee, yeah, you have St. Louis, Chicago, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, I got St. Louis finishing second. I got Chicago finishing third. Yeah, I got Cincinnati in dead last. And Pittsburgh in fourth place. So, Florio, it's yours.
Well, I got Milwaukee winning the division. I agree with you there. I have St. Louis finishing second. I got the Cubs in third. I got Cincinnati in fourth. And I got Pittsburgh in dead last. The Brewers' way? Well, Milwaukee has made the playoffs 4 years in a row, a streak that should continue as the Cardinals didn't do much to close the gap. Corbin Burns and Brandon Woodruff are the main attractions, but the Brewers' rotation strength lies in the depth with Freddie Peralta, Adrian Hauser, and Eric Lauer. It was a surprise to see the Cubs spend semi-big on Seiya Suzuki and Marcus Stroman, and Chicago enters the new season with most of the roster turned over. Cincinnati stayed in the hunt into September last season, but now they've traded Sonny Gray, Jesse Winker, and Eugenio Suarez. They've still got Luis Castillo and Tyler Mahle for now. It should be a fourth consecutive last place season for the Pirates, who hope Key Brian Hayes bounces back and prospect O'Neal Cruz brings some excitement. So that's my story for the NL Central. MF, what says you?
I got Milwaukee, St. Louis. I got I'm sorry. All right, so it's Milwaukee, St. Louis, Chicago, the Chicago Cubs, the Cincinnati Reds, and the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's my five. That's why I think it's gonna go. So Anthony, one division to go. Let's end it.
And it's the NL West. And in the NL West, you have the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Colorado Rockies, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the San Diego Padres, and the San Francisco Giants. There's no question about this one. I think we're all in agreement on this one. It's the Dodgers. I mean, after finishing in second place with 106 wins, the Dodgers signed Freddie Freeman, the third recent MVP in a lineup that, don't forget, includes shortstop Trey Turner, acquired last summer. The Giants seemingly have to prove themselves all over again and should push for a wild card spot, but it's hard to imagine them hanging with their rivals if the win totals get into the hundreds again. Last year's slow collapse wasn't a great look for the Padres, and Fernando Tatis Jr. is already injured, but they get starter Mike Clevinger back after missing all of 2021. The Rockies were surprisingly the top suitor for Chris Bryant, signing him to a 7-year, $182 million deal. Has a team ever lost 110 games as quietly as the Diamondbacks last year? They could match that in 2022. So I've got the Dodgers winning the division. Let me see what I have. I got the Dodgers finishing first. I got the Giants finishing second. I got the Padres in third. I got Colorado in fourth, and I got Arizona dead last. So MF NL West, even though this is another foregone conclusion.
Yeah, another foregone conclusion, and I'm not surprised that you went that way. If Fernando Tatis would have been fully healthy and he would have been there in opening day, I think the race would be a lot more tighter. But because he's gone for an extended period of time, I think the Dodgers is just going to run away with the division. They're going to win it. They're going to take a huge lead early that I just don't see any of the other teams remaining is going to come back to chase it down. So Dodgers should win this easily going away. I am agreeing with you. I think the Giants will get second. I think the Padres will get third. Colorado will be four. Arizona will be in last. So Mike Bullock, you got the final say tonight.
Yeah, I got the Dodgers obviously winning that division. I got the Giants finishing in second place. I got the Padres finishing in third. And of course I got Colorado in fourth, and the Diamondbacks in last place. So nothing more to say except Florida, what's yours?
All right, and just to address, I have Toronto, Chicago, and Houston as the division winners. I have the Yankees. I got the Rays, Yankees, and Red Sox all as the wild card teams. Because remember, we have a 12-team postseason now. So, and I have Atlanta, Milwaukee, and LA as the division winners. And I've got the Mets, Cardinals, and Giants as the wild card teams. So we'll see how that all plays out. Gentlemen, did you want to add anything?
No, because I really didn't think that far ahead. I kind of just thought divisional winners more than anything else. Traditionally, we don't really talk about the wild card teams. Actually, we don't really do that. But yeah, I mean, I could see where you're coming from with that. I don't, but honestly, I actually kind of partially disagree with you, Anthony, on one thing. I don't see Boston making it. I actually don't. At least on the AL side, I unfortunately I don't see them being in the wild card. So I think that's the one that would be the one omission I would say. Yankees, I'm with you. I'll give you that easily. But as far as the others go, I don't know. Especially the Red Sox. That's the one that really got me worried more than anything else. So, but we'll see. Like you said, they opened it up so you get 3 wild cards and you get the 3 divisional winners. Top 2 automatically goes to the divisional round, and everybody else has got to fight for their lives in that quote unquote super wild card round, as we'll say, because it's like a best 2 out of 3 in the first round.
Yes, sir. So that's all there is to say on that. Bullock, did you want to add anything before we wrap up?
Yeah, I mean, I could see the Yankees, the Rays, and the Red Sox representing the other wild card teams. And as far as the National League, I mean, yeah, that's a tough one for me. So that's all I got to say on it.
All right, fair enough. So with that will put the bow on this edition of TXN Sports World. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. As always, we'll be back with you tomorrow night, 11 p.m. immediately following AEW Rampage for another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk, the return of the Cerebral Smack Talk after our 1-week hiatus. We didn't do a show last week because of the WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony and other things, but it was mainly the Hall of Fame. MF will be the host of that, as always, on his channel, Bracefan 95, as we will run down Friday Night SmackDown, their fallout from WrestleMania, and, of course, AEW Rampage. And we have a rare 2-for-1 deal. For the first time in a while, MF is going to hit you with the Mikey's mindset, as he will have the results and perhaps some thoughts on the Super Card of Honor that went down last weekend. And I will give you the results of the Impact Wrestling multiverse of matches that also went down on that very same evening. So, yeah, it'll be one of those very rare times where the Tony's Take will invade the Cerebral Smack Talk. As you know, Tony's Take is a staple of Ridiculously Raw. And speaking of Ridiculously Raw Monday night, there will not be an Impact Wrestling review, only because of the fact that tonight's Impact Wrestling, they did recaps of the multiverse of matches and showed some of the matches, and they even showed one match in its entirety. And so it was basically a best of the multiverse of matches. It was like a special edition. So I'm not going to do an Impact Wrestling review. So so it's pretty much going to be just be Raw, because I mean, but well, maybe I'll throw an NXT level up. Maybe I'll do that. But that'll cover that for next week. So that's it. So that's Friday, tomorrow, big show there. SmackDown, Rampage, as always. MF with the Super Card of Honor and the Mikey's Mindset, and my Tony's Take with the Impact Multiverse of matches. That'll be tomorrow, and then Monday we do it all again, Ridiculously Raw, like I said, Raw, and an abbreviated Tony's Take with NXT Level Up. Wednesday Night Madness, NXT 2.0. Definitely keeping an eye on the future of the tag team division in NXT after the disturbing news that came out this week, and of course AEW Dynamite. And I don't know if we're going to be doing this next week, because I mean, I think we pretty much run out of everything. I mean, actually, no. The only thing I can confirm for this show next week is we will have a preview of the NBA playoffs, because I think the NBA playoffs should be all set. So we're going to have a very special NBA playoff edition of TXN Sports World. It's going to be pretty much all about the NBA playoffs, unless, of course, some other news comes in.
Yeah, pretty much, because I believe the play-in tournaments actually start next week. I think it goes from the 12th to the 12th through the 15th. So we got the play-in tournament going on, and then we would be actually in full preview mode of the remaining matches. So we actually would get our predictions to the play-in tournament, and then we could actually fully preview the remaining battles in the first round. So we will actually have it next week, and then after that, um, depending on how long it goes, maybe we set ourselves up. Then after that, then we got, because I know right around the end of the month is the Stanley Cup playoffs, because they actually started their season later. So
Well, as far as the Stanley Cup goes, they're expected to begin on May 2nd.
mm-hmm.
So I believe
But that's going to run right into the NFL draft, because the draft is earlier that week.
Draft actually starts on the 28th.
Yep.
So what will happen here is maybe April 28th. If everything is all honky dory, maybe we could, if everything is all set up, maybe we could do a preview of a Stanley Cup playoff special preview.
Yep.
For April 28th, because we usually do the draft recap the week after. So
yes, we do.
So Cinco de Mayo, May 5th. That's going to be that will be our NFL draft recap show, our annual NFL draft recap show. One of those shows that MF looks especially forward to. And maybe the following week, I think usually the following week the NFL schedule comes out. So So May 12th, if all goes well, May 12th could be our NFL schedule show. So
they haven't announced it yet. We know it's coming. We know it's very soon. We just haven't heard when they're dropping it. So, but traditionally, they do drop it at least a week or two after the draft. So we'll see. Haven't heard anything official yet, but we're hoping.
Yep. But next week's show will be all about the NBA playoffs next week. That is for sure.
Yeah.
And if any other news stories that need to be addressed come in, we'll address them. But it's all about the NBA playoffs next Thursday night on this show. That's the 14th. 21st, that might be when we may have to preempt the show due to lack of content. April 28th, like I said, if all goes well, maybe we could have the Stanley Cup playoffs, do a special Stanley Cup edition of TXN Sports World for that. May 5th, there will definitely be a show, because that will be our annual NFL draft recap special. And then either May 12th or maybe May 19th, it will be our annual NFL schedule release special. So keep an eye out. We'll let you know as soon as we have everything. But next week, for sure, it'll be all about the NBA playoffs. That's a given. And then Cerebral Smack Talk after that. So that's it. So until tomorrow night, for the return of the Cerebral Smack Talk, hosted by good old MF Michael Fletcher over on Braceway 95. This is Anthony Florio here for the aforementioned good old MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, Michael Bullock and the First Lady, Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Sort of Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday. And until tomorrow night for the return of the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching TXN Sports World right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.